This was the Grizzlies' hero against Utah, capping off a phenomenal game for him with this great defense, staying with Mitchell the whole time, not giving ground, forcing a tough contested step back from Donovan that misses, as Memphis was able to pull off a huge win on the road. But let's go deeper into why Desmond Bane is becoming extremely important for the Grizzlies and why they're having a below expectation start of the season. In this video, I'll explain everything. What up everybody, my name is Stefan and this is Heat Check. Let's get into it. Look at this beautiful acrobatic layup. Bane had a bunch of these against Utah, and his athleticism certainly allows him to do it. But he's much more than that. In his second season, we already see a big jump in his production. He's taking a step from 9 points per game up to 15.5 this season, and in my opinion, the drop in 3-point efficiency could be deceiving, since I attribute that to the fact that last season he would pick and choose his shots a lot more, while now he has to be aggressive with Dillon Brooks out of the lineup with an injury. Desmond Bane still knocks down these open threes, and he showed that against Utah as well. 28 points on 12 for 20 shooting, that's 60%, to provide a much needed scoring boost for the team. But the Grizzlies love his intensity on the defensive end of the floor. We saw that game-saving stop already, but he had a lot more in that fourth quarter. Right here, he's hounding Donovan on the drive, gets the deflection which ultimately leads to a steal. Then, on this isolation, nice recovery to cut off the driving lane, keeps a body on him and forces a tough shot. And again, against Bogdanovic, Bane is right there the whole time, has his hand up on the step back, and you can see the ugly miss. Watching the rest of these highlights, you can see that Desmond played a terrific defensive game overall, as did his teammates in the fourth quarter against the Jazz. And if you're Taylor Jenkins, you'll love to see this, since Memphis has the worst defense in the league, dead last in the NBA, allowing 14 more points than the league leaders, Golden State. And things get even uglier when we talk about the fact that they were number 7 last year. That type of drop-off is insane. Now let me tell you why that's the case, at least in my opinion. The fact that their best defender, Dillon Brooks, has played only 4 games so far isn't helping for sure. But what I would like to bring attention to is their pick and roll defense. While Ja Morant is pesky and can get steals and overall guards well in isolation situations, that's nowhere near the case for pick and rolls. He struggles to fight over screens, and there always seems to be an open shot for the opponents once the defense starts rotating. This has been consistent both years, as you can see they rank 25th and 26th respectively in guarding the pick and roll ball handler. But as we know, 2 players are involved in this action. So when it comes to the roll man, this is where it gets interesting. Last season, the Grizzlies ranked number 7 in guarding the roll man, as opposed to 29 this year, and you can already see where this is going. While Steven Adams is a huge fighter and more than a willing defender, his speed is limiting him, as he's nowhere near as quick or athletic as Jonas Valanciunas. I've talked about this multiple times already. I did not like this trade for Memphis at all. I understand that they weren't planning on giving the Lithuanian big money this summer when the contract expires, but man, watching him rack up 19 points, 12.5 rebounds, and he can hit the 3 now all of a sudden, and comparing the impact both offensively and defensively with Steven Adams, this is an eye-popping drop-off for the team, and honestly, it's even good for them to be at 9-8 right now at number 6 in the West. So let's talk about how they're able to get wins despite having the worst defense in the league. Memphis is 5th in the NBA in points per game, and you know who leads the charge. It's none other than Ja Morant. Dude is making the jump from 19 points per game all the way to 25.5. All that while shooting better from the field, and hey, he's even getting to 36% from downtown. So now the defense has to try and close out on him outside, which makes Ja even deadlier on the drive. Just how deadly is he? Let me show you. These are the leaders in points in the paint this season. Expectedly, they're all big men who wrestle inside and spend most of their time under the basket. But then check out who's at number 1. Ja Morant leads the entire league in points in the paint with almost 15 per game. To score that many points as a point guard at only 6'3" means that Ja can get to the rim anytime he puts his mind to it, and there's no stopping him whatsoever. And watching these highlights, that's clearly the case. Whether it's on the blow by all the way for the layup, or the floater package that he's constantly improving, or of course a thunderous dunk. As you can see right here, the combination of his lightning quickness along with an improved outside jumper is becoming impossible to stop. Against the Jazz, however, he did not have a great night. Yes, he scored 32 points but needed 30 shots to get there. So in games like this one, guys like Bane, Jackson Jr., and even the bench have been there to fill in for almost 20 points that are missing by not having Brooks on the floor. Speaking of Jaren Jackson Jr., however, he had a big second half and ultimately scored the game winner on this drive by Morant. As you can see, the kick out outside for the 3 for the win, and he buries it. That's great. But to me, for the Memphis Grizzlies to make the next step, he is the one that needs to provide more offensively. Sure, the team loves him for his defense, and sometimes you can see the scoring potential, but he's too inconsistent and too injury prone. I'm sure that the franchise and the fan base expect a lot more than 14 points per game from him. Grizzlies fans will let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong on this one. So even with a horrific defense and an important piece to the puzzle being injured, we see the Grizzlies very much in the playoff race, helped by an emerging Desmond Bane and a collective effort from the rest of the team. Memphis did, however, come into this game following a complete 43-point debacle to the Minnesota Timberwolves, where the entire team looked completely disoriented and made Minnesota look like a title contender. That loss prompted a team meeting where they talked about all the things they needed to improve, and what better way to bounce back from it than with a big road win in the clutch with a game winner and a defensive stop against a strong team like Utah. And Coach Taylor Jenkins talked about the importance of that in the post-game interview.
You mentioned after that Minnesota loss that you had the utmost faith that these guys were going to bounce back and show that consistency. What can you just say as a group to have, some guys out, to what they're able to show you bouncing back off that loss and coming here tonight in Utah?
Shows the true character of each individual, on the team, the togetherness of this team. We've been inconsistent, but we're finding it together. It's not one person that's going to flip the switch. It's on everyone in the room. It's all 17 players. It's, all staff. The guys, they embrace these moments. They embrace the growth, the learning, the adversity. It says a lot. Hopefully this is something you just build on. Obviously, this is a huge win. Definitely a huge bounce back after, a really, really bad, performance the other night. But you got to have it every single day.
I said it before the season, they're one of the most interesting teams for me to watch, and I expect them to make the leap and be a dangerous first-round matchup for any contender in the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz got a warning signal just last night. Let me know in the comments, where do you see the Grizzlies at the end of the season? Can they finish in the top 6 playoff spots? Let me know. That's it for now. Subscribe and talk to you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, this is a warning signal to all of you. I'm getting back on track with my shot. Talk to the next one. Peace out.